Imagine being declared clinically dead, not once, but twice. No heartbeat, no pulse, just silence. Now, imagine waking up, not to alarms and nurses, but to a voice in a realm that isn't Earth. A voice that desperately wants you to return. Tonight, we're taking a peek behind the veil with the story of a retired engineer, a man of logic, science, and structure, who had his beliefs shattered by not one, but two near-death experiences during open-heart surgery. And what he saw will make you question everything. Our story begins in early 2025, in the quiet town of Blackridge Falls. Michael Trenton, a 67-year-old retired aerospace engineer, was preparing for the biggest challenge of his life. Years of hypertension and a degenerative valve condition had led doctors to one conclusion: he needed immediate aortic valve replacement surgery. Michael, ever the logical thinker, had read every paper he could get his hands on. He wasn't afraid, but he was prepared. His sons, Alan and Ben, stayed close, and the family braced themselves for a complex but common procedure. The 25th of February. The surgery began at 8:15 a.m. But what was supposed to be a textbook operation became anything but. After the valve was successfully replaced, Michael's heart refused to restart on its own. The team initiated temporary pacing. 4 days. His heart remained dependent on the device, sluggish to resume natural rhythm. During this time, while unconscious, Michael experienced what he would later recognize as his first near-death experience. He doesn't remember fading. There was no tunnel, no out-of-body drift. What did come was something far more subtle and chilling. He described it later as an instant shift, like stepping through a membrane into a reality that wasn't mine. There was no pain, no fear, just awareness, a strange, vibrant field of light, almost pixelated, hovered around him like an intelligent fog. It pulsed, once, then twice, then nothing. He woke up in recovery, but something had changed. The memory lingered like a dream that refused to fade. 7 days later, the 3rd of March, Michael suffered a sudden and serious arrhythmia while still in the ICU. Both nodes of his heart failed to communicate. Complete electrical silence. Doctors made a radical decision to chemically stop his heart, reset it, and bring back the rhythm. What they didn't expect was that Michael would flatline for nearly 10 seconds. This time, he was fully conscious before it happened, and what followed was identical to the first, but far more vivid. He later said, "There was no fear, no confusion. I was suddenly elsewhere, and I was not alone." A flash, white hot and blinding, pierced through the void. Then, a voice, frantic, urgent, male, but not quite human. "We have to go back. We have to go back." It repeated, over and over. The voice wasn't giving orders. It was pleading, begging. "We have to go back." Michael felt something pulling, something anchoring him to choice. And at that moment, he made one. I said to myself, clearly, directly, "Yes, I'll return." And just like that, he did. When Michael opened his eyes, the room was chaos. Beeping monitors, rushing nurses. His son Alan stood in the corner, pale and speechless. But when Michael tried to explain what happened, what he saw, no one seemed interested. Not the doctors, not the staff. One nurse even brushed it off with, "That's just the brain under stress." But Michael knew. This wasn't hallucination. It wasn't oxygen deprivation. Something real had happened, twice. With effort, he convinced a sympathetic nurse to let him snap a photo of the monitor at the exact time of the second flatline, the 3rd of March at 11:41 a.m. That image is now saved on his phone, a time-stamped marker of the moment he crossed over. One of his sons later Googled his symptoms and found the International Association for Near-Death Studies, a community of people who'd all seen something else. And suddenly, Michael wasn't alone anymore. We've all heard of near-death experiences. Tunnels of light, voices, out-of-body visions. But what happens when someone like Michael, a man of science, a man of facts, can no longer deny the mystery of what he lived through? 2 deaths, 2 returns, and one desperate voice saying, "We have to go back." Maybe it was his own subconscious. Maybe it was something beyond human understanding. We'll let you decide. But remember this: death may be final, but what happens right before might just be the most important story of all. This has been a look behind the veil. Subscribe for more real stories that challenge the boundary between life and what lies beyond.